Industry Development Committee. It's meeting number 1 of 2024. Noting all councillors are in attendance and there are no apologies. Acknowledgement of country. Today this committee recognises the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet. We support the inclusion of First Nations people in the economic development of our city and acknowledge their existing and potential contribution to the economic drivers that support our continued development. Are there any declarations of interest in matters on the agenda? No declarations of interest. There is no business outstanding. Item 1 is confirmation of minutes of the Economic and Industry Development Committee number 11 of 2023 of the 28th of November 23. I move that the minutes of the Economic and Industry Development Committee held on 28th of November 2023 be confirmed. Could I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Fechner. I'll put that to the vote. Any discussion on or corrections to the minutes? I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? Thank you. Item number 2 is the 24-25 state budget pre-budget submission. This is a report concerning Council's 2024-25 state budget pre-budget submission to the Queensland Government, promoting the city's advocacy priorities. Could I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Doyle. Seconder? Councillor Fechner. Thank you. The recommendation is that the report concerning Council's 24-25 state budget pre-budget submission to the Queensland Government be received and the contents noted. Could I speak to the Council Officer, please?
Good morning. Dan Heenan, Economic Development Manager.
Good morning, Mr Heenan. Noting this advocacy as a key element of the economic development strategy, what other actions are taking place to make Ipswich one of the most livable cities in South East Queensland?
Thank you. So I guess the advocacy priorities that are outlined in the state budget submission have been pretty consistent now over the term of this council, and I guess represent our city's most critical and catalytic projects. And the actions that we undertake as council in relation to these projects are led by and shaped by Mayor Harding and the councillors and ELT. Each year, both levels of government, I guess, call for budget submissions, and there's a formal portal through which submissions are received and they're published publicly. So it's an important step in the advocacy that we do as council to put forward our best foot, if you like, to try and get funding and support for those projects that are the most important for the city. And I guess in addition to budget submissions, you know, there's a range of activities that council undertakes in the advocacy program over the course of a typical 12-month period. You know, over the past 12 months, some of the activities that we've undertaken are things like delegation to Canberra. You know, there's a constant stream, I suppose, of formal correspondence. There's formal and informal meetings with ministers, local members, so forth. But also engaging with, you know, some of the platforms that Council of Mayors creates, and on policies like this SEQ City Deal and the regional plan represent opportunities. And I guess probably also worth noting is that the legacy roadmap and the work that we'll do will also put forward some of our most critical projects too. So, you know, as we look ahead to the rest of this year, we've got a state election later in the year, and I think that represents a big opportunity for the city. And so we're working collectively to come up with a new advocacy plan that will put us in good shape, hopefully, to get support and funding for different projects under that process.
So there's an action plan for engagement
in
relation to this?
Absolutely, there will be, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Are there any further questions for the officer? I'll now open for discussion.
Thank you.
Sorry? I can't hear you.
It has been moved to second, sorry. If I may, Chair?
Yes, thank you.
This 2024-2025 state budget, pre-budget submission does outline our city's priorities and opportunities for the state government to invest to grow in the fastest growing city and council in Queensland and support our region. It lays out our goals to improve livability and deliver critical infrastructure. These are our key advocacy priorities that we rely on for the state government to fund to deliver these projects, so they are state and federal government responsibilities. We're asking them to not do things that are council responsibilities, that their own responsibilities. They are the level of government that's responsible. Community feedback has guided us with this process, and the priorities listed here are what our residents have told us that they want to see accomplished for the future of Ipswich. The current and future residents of Ipswich need support from the state government to provide infrastructure that will support 500,000 residents that will live in Ipswich in the next 2 decades. Our community is being asked to accept a great deal of growth. We're being asked to have our population double over the next 16, 17 years. We are behind when it comes to infrastructure. We need a massive injection of funding and investment into our city to cope with the shortfall as well as going into the future. Councils only receive 3% of the taxes that are paid, and the state and the federal governments receive 97%. So there's only so much that we can do or that we're responsible for. So I'm quite delighted that this is, I think, a good submission, pre-budget submission, and I'm hoping in an election year that that all the different parties in the government are all ears as to what our community does need to really have that growth happening in our community.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Thank you. I'll put it to the vote. The recommendation is that the report concerning Council's 24-25 state budget, pre-budget submission to the Queensland Government be received and the contents noted. Calling for a show of hands. Thank you. Thank you. That is unanimous and carried. Thank you. There are no notice of and there are no matters arising. I will close this meeting at 11:38 and the next committee should be, Environment and Sustainability should be at 11:50. Yeah, thank you.